Okay guys, what's up? It's OJ Senpai here today, coming back from a really long hiatus to do a One Piece discussion video. Now this One Piece discussion video, I was not really too keen on doing, but I decided to try it out just to see how it works, and I've actually pretty much liked it. This new theory focuses on three people: Roronoa Zoro, Fujitora, also known as Isho, the new admiral, and the unknown Shichibukai. Now, this is what I think personally. The new Shichibukai will be revealed in Wano Country. We'll see him there. Sorry. And I think that he will be a possible rival for Zoro in the future. I think that he will be one of Zoro's main rivals. Now, note how, well, not really note, but I'm actually going to dive right in. I'm going to show you guys some of the research I've done and some of the things that I've seen. And I want you guys to tell me in the comment section down below what you think about it. Musashi Miyamoto is a character from Vagabond, a manga that probably a few people have read. And it's actually about a manga that I've enjoyed as well. And Musashi Miyamoto is a legendary swordsman from the late 1500s to the mid 1600s. He lived during that time period. And he was so renowned. He was one of the best swordsmen of his time. And I think that he and Zoro share some character traits. Now, keep in mind, I'm not saying that they're the exact same character. Don't take that as, oh, Zoro is Musashi Miyamoto is confirmed. No. No. I know Zoro has his own basis from a real-life pirate. But anyways, I forget what his name was, but that's not important. What's important is Musashi Miyamoto. Now, here's the thing. Musashi Miyamoto, of course, like I said before, he was a renowned swordsman, one of the best, and he was actually the creator of the multi-sword fighting style. Of course, he created Nitoryu, because during that time, before he came in, it was all about Itoryu. And if you guys don't know, Nitoryu is two sword style, and Itoryu is one sword style. Now, here's where I say they have similar character traits. Musashi Miyamoto is always about learning new sword techniques and becoming stronger to the point where he wants to become the strongest swordsman within the land. And that's the same thing for Zoro as well. He wants to become the strongest swordsman in the world. But for Zoro to do that, he has to defeat who? Mihawk. In Musashi's case, he's not really having a set person to defeat to be concerned himself to be the strongest, but he feels like as if when he becomes the strongest, at least within the story, he seems that way. He'll feel that way, of course. Another thing that I know about Musashi is that in the story itself, Musashi does actually care about his friends to a certain degree. Zoro also cares about his friends immensely. And they have similar ways of thinking. Whereas, Zoro has a samurai code of sorts. He's not really a samurai in general, but he's more of, he has his own code, and he incorporates the samurai code in there, the Bushido code. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is Musashi Miyamoto's rival. Musashi Miyamoto's main rival, from what we know from the lore, or this actually happened in real time, he is called Sasaki Kojiro. Now, Kojiro in the Vagabond manga is pretty much depicted as this really strong swordsman. This guy is immensely powerful. Like, when you read the manga, guys, I'm telling you, he's on some next level shit. Sasaki Kojiro is a really strong swordsman who is considered to be very irresponsible and very mischievous in a way. But the reason why he's irresponsible and mischievous is because he was mute when he was a kid, and he's still mute, in the story. Now, what I think here is, I think that this new Shichibukai will be very irresponsible and very mischievous. Now, why is that? The Shichibukai in general are pretty much mischievous individuals because they're pirates. They want to do their own thing. They help the world government when they feel like it. And I think that this new rival for Zoro will be no exception. He'll probably be even more responsible and not even care about the government in general. I think that the main reason why they recruited the Shichibukai was because of his strength, not because of his convictions or because of how he works. They recruited him because he was really damn strong, and I'll explain why that's important later. The thing about this Shichibukai is that I think he and Zoro will be rivals and that he will appear in Wano Kuni. Now, the reason why I think he'll come to Wano Kuni is because what we hear about him in chapter 700. We don't know that much about him, but we know that he's one of the new Shichibukai. You know, he says, like, I think it was Commodore Brand New who mentioned him. He said, you know, and this new guy we just recruited not too long ago, possibly during the time skip. And I think that he will be found in Wano. Why do I think? Well, another reason why I think so. I usually don't do this because my theories are usually run on actual facts and actual canon information. But this is what I think personally. If you take a look at Film Z, the new Shichibukai is the one who cut off Z's arm. It wasn't Buggy, it wasn't Law. No, it wasn't them. It was the new Shichibukai. Once he cut off the arm and killed Z's Marine crew, he became a Shichibukai, and then of course Z got mad and created the Neo Marines. Now, pay attention here. I don't think that that's exactly how he became a Shichibukai. As a matter of fact, I think that's mostly non-canon. But there is a possibility that this new Shichibukai might be extremely bloodthirsty and wanting to become even stronger, like Kojiro in the Vagabond manga, where he wants to fight really strong opponents. Z is strong as shit. I mean, we already know this. But anyways, I think that he is very bloodthirsty. He is very ruthless. He's like Zoro in a way because Zoro can be bloodthirsty and sometimes ruthless, but Zoro knows when to calm the fuck down. You know what I'm saying? He knows when to calm down and do his shit right. So what I think is that Z, based off of what we saw from the movie, even though technically it's non-canon, I really think that he's going to be bloodthirsty and he's going to want to obtain more power by defeating stronger opponents. I think that's how it's going to work. And I also think that he'll come to Wano because he is a swordsman. Note how in the movie they mentioned that he cut off Z's arm. And this new Shichibukai might possibly be a swordsman if, you know, like if they're taking the personality of the Shichibukai we know, or rather how he acts in terms of Film Z. If that's kind of canon, we could take that into the actual canon and say, you know what, maybe he is bloodthirsty as fuck, maybe he is a swordsman because Z's arm got cut off. And I think that if he wants to become even stronger, he'll have to go to one place and one place specifically, Wano. I think that he'll come to Wano and he'll meet Zoro there. I also think that Wano Kuni will be one of Zoro's best arcs because Zoro will be in one of Oda's best arcs, but at the same time it will be where Zoro shines the most because of the fact that Zoro there will get a lot of probably character development, new sword style, maybe in a new sword, we don't know, we'll see. I think that he and the Shichibukai will meet there, and I think that they will fight. Now, I think that Zoro will defeat the new Shichibukai with some new technique, something that he hasn't brought out yet. I think that'll happen. And I think that the Shichibukai will at that point consider Zoro a target. I think that he'll consider to train even stronger to become stronger than Zoro at some point. Or rather, they're even, but Zoro somehow defeats him, like using a new technique. And I think that they will become rivals, that they will meet up with each other every once in a while, you know, kind of clash at sometimes. But I think that they'll keep their rivalry constant. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to the rivalry Zoro has had, like for example, you have Sanji. Sanji is more of a friendly rival. He's not necessarily a rival, like a bitter rival, like, oh, I'm gonna fuck you up, like I hate your guts. Sanji, he can't stand Zoro, but deep down the two do care about each other. I mean, it's obvious. They carry each other like kind of like brothers, like kind of like sibling rivalries. You know, when you have the brother and the sister and they're fighting and stuff, they really do care about each other, but sometimes they can't stand each other. That's how I think Zoro is going to be. That's how I think Zoro is with Sanji. So that's why I don't consider them to be much of a bitter rival. They're friendly rivals. And of course, in Sanji's case, Sanji isn't a swordsman. He's not a swordsman. He's handled knives before, and he's pretty good with those, but he's not really a swordsman. He's a martial artist. So I think that this new Shichibukai will prove to be the best rival Zoro can have possibly. And another reason why I think this is because when you take a look at Zoro's journey, Zoro has gone through a lot of shit. He's lost his own sword, which is pretty much Ryubushiri, when Ryubushiri got rusted and broken up and cracked. And of course, they left it on Thriller Bark. He had to get a new sword. He had to learn how to. He had to gain Ashura to defeat Kaku. He had to go through so much shit as a swordsman. He had to learn how to cut steel. I think that the one thing that Zoro's missing right now, and of course he'll be missing a few things later on that could continue on the story, but I think the one thing that he's missing on right now is a rival. I think that's where a rival. I think that Mihawk and Zoro will be similar in the fact that they will both have rivals. In terms of Mihawk, the only real rival Mihawk has so far is Shanks. Now, Shanks and Mihawk are different because for some weird reason Mihawk won't really fight Shanks anymore. And he mentions it's possibly because of the fact that, Shanks only has one arm. And I think personally that is important because, of course, the swordsman's code, he wants Shanks to be at his full strength, at full power, and only having one arm, that won't be appealing to Mihawk. That's what I think personally. And I think that Mihawk's rivalry with Shanks will echo Zoro's rivalry with this Shichibukai. Because back in the day, Shanks and Mihawk, believe it or not, and you should already know this, Mihawk and Shanks had daily duels. They always fought all the time. They always fought each other. They always tried to test out their strength. And even though now their rivalry has cooled off to a kind of friendly, more neutral, friendly relationship, they were probably bitter rivals in the past, probably. And I think that's how Zoro's going to be with this new Shichibukai. Now, here's where I kind of address the whole Zoro being a Shichibukai and Luffy defeating his own Shichibukai. Luffy so far has defeated two of them, and that's Moria and Crocodile. And he'll eventually defeat Doflamingo, which will make three. And a lot of people are kind of iffy about this because they're like, well, you don't want Zoro to have too much shine, you know what I'm saying? There are some people that still think Zoro is weaker than Luffy, which is I'm one of them. So Zoro fighting a Shichibukai isn't entirely possible. But here's where I think it makes some sense. When you take a look at the Straw Hat Pirates, who amongst the crew is considered to be the most dangerous? Besides, of course, Sanji. Sanji's a member of the Monster Trio. Luffy and Zoro. And these two have the highest bounties in the crew. Zoro has a bounty lower than Luffy. Luffy has the highest, Zoro has the second highest. But why is that? Zoro and Luffy always cause more trouble for the world government. They always cause more fucking trouble. Now, the reason why I don't think Sanji will get a Shichibukai opponent of his own, or maybe he'll get one but not now, is because when it comes to Sanji's not all about getting the fame, getting the fortune in terms of what he does. He does want to gain more fame and more fortune. I mean, he can match up with Zoro. But when it comes to Sanji, whenever he fights or whatever he does stuff, it's more on some espionage type shit. He's more of a guy who works behind the scenes. You won't see him for a little while. He'll come back and say, oh, well, I did this and I did that. And, and that's how he saves the day. With Zoro, it's more out there. It's more like people know more about Zoro's feats than Sanji's feats. Why? Because Zoro, he doesn't care. He doesn't care about like if people know or not. With Sanji's a little bit more like, I gotta do this systematically. I can't I can't just jump into that shit. But with Zoro's like, yo, I need to jump into that shit because I need to get stronger. And the only way to get stronger is to fight this nigga. And that nigga is the new Shichibukai. And of course the whole, Zoro being pretty much the most dangerous member of the crew under Luffy, because of course Luffy's always the most dangerous because he's a son of dragon, he's done all these things and stuff like that. But even during the East Blue where we have Zoro was thought to be the captain because Zoro was so much more serious than Luffy is. Although once Luffy gets his first bounty, who is the captain? Luffy. So I think that Zoro will eventually fight this Shichibukai and Wano, and that will make the government furious and actually realize Zoro's an even bigger threat than we thought of he was before. If Sanji fights his own Shichibukai, I'll consider it. I'll be like, yeah, that's cool. And it's okay as well because Luffy would already have defeated 3 of them by the time Wano Kuni comes around. Zoro's only defeating 1. It's not that big of a deal. But this is where I think that it'll cause an even bigger trouble for the Marines, the world government, as well as the entire One Piece world itself. Fujitora, the new admiral, his name is Isho. What is his main goal as of right now? He wants to abolish the Shichibukai system. Why is that? Well, the Shichibukai system is flawed in the fact that the Shichibukai do whatever the fuck they want to, rather than do exactly what the Marines tell them to do, or the world government tells them to do. They do what they think is convenient. Like, for example, Crocodile, oh, I'm going to find one of the ancient weapons to take over the world with, or rather take over the country of Alabasta. I'm going to use that and take over the country. What happens? He gets kicked. He gets his ass kicked by Luffy. Moria, I want to take down Kaido. You know, taking down one of the Yonkos is a bad thing. I want to take him down using these zombies, using these shadows. What's happened to Moria? Gets his ass kicked by Luffy. Doflamingo, what does he want to do? Oh shit, you know, I want to team up with Kaido. That way Kaido can get all these Zoan Devil Fruits. What's Kaido doing? Who the hell knows? But it's obviously not good because Kaido's getting all these armies and shit. Even though he's still a Yonko. What happens to Luffy? What happens to Doflamingo? Eventually he'll get defeated by Luffy, you know, even now in this arc. Blackbeard took Crocodile's opposition. What happened with Blackbeard? Oh, I'm gonna use my title to get into Impel Down, recruit some really strong really strong people, including Shiryu the fucking Rain, including Shiryu. And of course take down Whitebeard and become a Yonko myself. And of course I resign as Shichibukai in the process. Jinbei, oh, I want to resign as Shichibukai because I don't want to kill Whitebeard. Whitebeard is my boy. Whitebeard saved Fishman Island. That's my boy. I love Whitebeard. Boa Hancock wouldn't even go to Marineford to help the Marines until Luffy came in and said, I want to help get Ace back. And then she was like, okay, you know, I'll help you out because of course she's in love with Luffy. Law, oh shit, you know what? I want to take down Doflamingo. What do I gotta do? I gotta become a Shichibukai. Have to get access to Punk Hazard. Have to get access to the Smiles. Destroy the Smiles. Get Kaido mad. Doflamingo dies. And of course, in the process, Law loses his Shichibukai status because he also allies himself with Luffy and kills Doflamingo. Which, I mean, it's not gonna happen, but that's what he was planning out. He kills Doflamingo, and of course that gets rid of another Shichibukai. The Shichibukai cannot be fucking trusted. That's why Fujitora is so worried about them. If Luffy defeats Doflamingo, here's how I think it's gonna go. I don't think that the Gorosei are gonna be that willing to just, like, take out the entire Shichibukai system in general. And the reason why I say this is because of the fact that when it comes to the world government, the Marines lost so much power after Marineford was over that they had to climb back. They had to get the same power back. For example, Kuzan, what did he do? He left the Marines. He didn't want to deal with Akainu being the new fleet admiral. What also happened? Garp, I resign. This nigga said I resign, basically. And now I think he's an instructor now for new Marines. But he's still no longer a vice admiral. That's a problem, and Garp's really damn powerful. What happens to Sengoku? Yo, I resign as fleet admiral. Let Akainu handle this shit. Akainu, I'm a new fleet admiral now. That means I'm no longer just an admiral. That leaves a new admiral spot. The Marines need more power, and because of that, they need more allies. Because of this fact, the Shichibukai are so fucking important. That's why they needed to fill these spots as fast as they fucking can. That's why during the time skip, even though Buggy's weak as shit, even though Buggy's not that powerful, Buggy has hype. He has dudes behind him that are strong enough where Buggy can even scare some of the stronger pirates away. And of course, you know, that's how you get into the Shichibukai system. You either have hype, or you have strength, or you have both. So that is the reason why I think the Shichibukai are so important, which is why the Gorosei may not necessarily get rid of the Shichibukai system after this arc. I think they will get rid of it, though, once Zoro defeats the Shichibukai. And I think that the Shichibukai will be so much more important where he'll actually team up with Kaido to get even stronger. Now, that part is a little bit reaching because we don't know what the Shichibukai wants to do just yet. But I think that Shichibukai will act as an obstacle for Luffy and the rest of the crew, as well as Law and the rest of Law's crew, in order to defeat the commander, the commander that Kaido has on the island, or even, well, I doubt Kaido himself. I think Kaido will come in a little bit later and fight, but I think that it will be a commander of Kaido that will team up with the Shichibukai and to take out the Straw Hat Pirates and the Heart Pirates, sorry. And after the Shichibukai is said defeated by Zoro, Gorosei was like, you know what, Fujitora? You were right. You were absolutely, positively fucking right. These Shichibukai need to fucking go. It's too late now. It's too late now for us to replace the power of the Shichibukai. But at least now we know the Shichibukai cannot be trusted. Or rather, not even that we know now we can't trust these niggas anymore. We need to get a completely new system. Which I have a theory for as well. That's how it ties into this one. But I'll post that later in my channel on a different day. And Fujitora will have this goal completed. That's how I think it's going to be such a big deal. And of course, for the One Piece world, this causes a big stir, because without the Shichibukai, what's going to happen? More and more chaos. This is the new age of piracy. The golden age of piracy that Roger created is over now. This is a completely new age that Whitebeard created when he died. The more and more Luffy and Law fuck with the Shichibukai and the Yonko, the more and more shit gets fucked up to where the world will be in much more disaster. Because that's how it is. That's how Luffy and Law are doing this right now. By planning to take down Kaido, they are systematically taking down the Shichibukai in various ways, as well as fuck up the world to an even greater degree than we've ever seen them before. And Fujitora will use all of this evidence and say, you know what? You guys need to get rid of this system, because this system is flawed as shit. And I completely understand how it feels, because the Shichibukai are trustworthy. I love the characters, but he's not wrong. They're not trustworthy whatsoever. And I think that this new Shichibukai, with him being so irresponsible, with him being like Sasaki Kojiro, sorry. I think with that, at that point, Fujitora is like, you know what? Fuck it. We need to get rid of this shit now. And the Gorosei will agree with them after this Shichibukai is defeated. Because now, not only has Luffy defeated 3 Shichibukai, one of his crewmates can even do so as well. And possibly even Sanji, if Sanji even fights one down the line, who knows. So that's pretty much the video. Tell me your thoughts down below. Do you think it's a Shichibukai that's going to be the new rival? Who do you think it is? It could be a new resident of Wano. Maybe it's a rival that is a citizen, maybe a member of the Royal Guard, you know, maybe a Royal Guard of the Shogun. Maybe it's even a past character in One Piece. Who the fuck knows? But I think I'm going to set my bets on this possibility of it being a Shichibukai. What I'm going to do down below in the description box is I'm going to put down the links for Sasaki Kojiro and Musashi Miyamoto, the 2 links for their bios from Wikipedia on there. And I'll also put a link to the theory that I got this from, because this theory is actually somewhat based on another theory that I found on Oro Jackson. A really good theory in my personal opinion. So yeah, I'm done. Rate, comment, and subscribe. Tell me your thoughts down below about my theory. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you think it could be even more improved upon? I always like comments like these, you know, to make me feel better, you know, make me grow more as a reviewer. I am planning tomorrow on having a live reaction for the new One Piece chapter for 784. Year 4, and I hope to see you guys there. I'll post it there tomorrow, sometime after I come out for school, maybe in the afternoon to the evening. So, with that being said, rate, comment, and subscribe. Have a good day, guys. I hope you read One Piece and continue to enjoy it, and thanks. Bye.